Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. In this video, I want to speak on current events and to uplift brothers because these times are getting closer and closer. And by that I mean mainly Jacob's trouble. Because with Jacob's trouble, that's going to bring in the draft and how Esau Edom is pretty much going to start going door to door for various reasons, doing certain things in a very draconian way, showing basically his power and what he has, the influence of these people. A lot of these people aren't going to want to go to war or do these things, but ultimately, it's not Esau Edom's plan. It's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's plan to get everybody over there to the Valley of Yehoshaphat. Now, with this current article, or like the topic, is that Iran is claiming that about 3,000 casualties already have been lost to this war. And that's basically what they're saying now. It's a conflict, war, or what have you, but ultimately, blood is being shed. Not all of it's being documented like that. This is like on Iran's side, what they're saying. So if they're getting their mighty men ready and they're getting all their resources put into military combat, you best believe that America is going to do that. Because right now America's got that lax spirit. They're at ease. They're like the city of unwalled villages. But there's going to come a point where Esau Edom's going to come down with that draconian measure and show his might, his strength, in the sense that he's going to force these people, these civilians, to get drafted into the war. And it's very fitting that all of these things that are happening in the terms of the curses that America is getting hit with, part of that is that they're going to bring in all of these foreign people into that draft. If you were like in the Philippines, you could join the military and get a faster visa to get a citizenship. So I predict that that's what they're going to do and promote it. They're going to have that in the forefront of the commercials to get all these people who basically are already here, but to get that benefit to become a citizen. Makes me think of that movie Starship Troopers. If Jake has never watched Starship Troopers, I recommend watching that. It's a sci-fi movie, but it's really good. But it kind of goes into that, like how society's basically going to need people to be in the military. And with this right here, us in this ministry, in this faith, we're not going to bend the knee to this society. If we're going to get drafted, if we're going to get sent to FEMA camps, all of that's pretty much that same vibration of Satan forcing us to do something that we're not going to do. Only thing that we're going to do is be steadfast and loyal, unmovable, and always abounding in the Spirit. So if these predicaments take place, so like to get your minds prepared for this, like there's a lot of brothers who are of age in this military. This shouldn't be something that should give you an inward agitation or something to overthrow your faith. If Esau Edom comes knocking on your door, just pray to the Most High. You always got to constantly be prayed up, especially in the times that we're about to enter. And so, like with that, with the draft, brothers basically just have to be steadfast, because that might be your test of faith, your hour of temptation, what you are going to do, whether you're going to go to the right or whether you're going to go to the left. But ultimately, like this draft and everything that's literally about to take place with World War III and Esau Edom forcing the mandate of the MOTB, those are all very similar to when I was reading this in Revelation 2 and 10. So, because this doesn't necessarily apply to just FEMA camps. This is pretty much any and everything that fits the characteristics where you're confined, or where you're basically in a situation where you can't basically be a Hebrew Israelite on your own. Because we pretty much have no sovereignty here. But Esau Edom is going to try to show that with his physical power. But I'm going to read this first. This is in Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So this encompasses everything. Maybe there's going to be a time where you don't have food in your area when we're pilgrims and during the time of Jacob's trouble. Maybe there's going to come a time where there is a sudden earthquake and it messes up certain things. Whatever the case is, you're to fear none of those things. Like even the marauders, the crazy people that are going to be going house to house, breaking entries because of the lack of bread. Fear none of those things. Those things are scourges and amendments for the 2/3 and the wicked. But if you get caught in those situations, the difference between you and the other people is that you have a power to pray to. You have a toolkit, basically, the scriptures. Wisdom and knowledge is going to keep you stable in these days. So if a situation befalls you, fear none of those things. Just remember that it's part of the test. Let no man take thy crown. So from the top again, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prisons, that ye may be tried. Now this, when we bring this out, mainly speaking about the FEMA camps, because you've already seen it in movies and scenarios that played out, and trial runs, if you will, that Esau Edom is basically going to confine you in a space. And if you don't abide with his draconian measure, well, then he's going to keep you there. But that's not something that we should waver in faith. Some of us may be put in that lot. Some of us may be put in the situation where we are decapitated for Yahweh's sake. Those things are part of this ministry. When you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation and the possibilities that you might be cast into a vault of fire or in a den of lions. Any and every of these curses or situations, things may or may not befall you, but you're supposed to fear none of those things, because whatever situation you're going to be put in, you have to trust in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai that he's going to deliver you out of that predicament. So from the top again, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So that is basically what we're supposed to keep. When we're down here as representatives of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, we have to show forth it with our actions. So, like, mainly going into the MLTB, because with the jab, or so I'll say, with the thing that happened in 2020, that was kind of a trial run. They really didn't want us to like go out and about in the city unless we had our credentials. But we were faithful unto death. We didn't want to receive any of whatever Esau Edom was given, and we were basically proven right. And what's about to happen is going to be actually like live rounds in the range. We're not going to do training rounds. It's going to be a live range round. So like in the military, you would do like fake trials in the classroom, but then once you keep doing those things, you actually like practice it and do it with live rounds. Same thing with karate or wrestling. These are maneuvers and techniques that you have to train and hone before you actually do them. So right now, we are training and honing the spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, so that when these things befall, we're ready, because we have this in our mindset, the crown, and we're not going to let anybody take it, or take it away from us. So I'm just going to quickly skim through some of these articles, and this, like I said, this is from Iran's side. Like this one, well, China's bringing this one out. This is Middle East death toll exceeds 3,000 in 2 weeks of U.S.-Iran conflict. Iran says 3,000 killed in recent protest, issuing lower death toll than human rights activists. More than 3,000 dead in Iran's nationwide uprising in January 11. So this is something that they're always, going through, but it's going to get more. It's going to escalate more, and it's going to get to the point where Esau Edom is going to have to return back here to the States and call a draft. And some of us may be put in that situation. Some of us may be put in a FEMA camp. Some of us may lose our lives for this ministry. But you have to be faithful unto death, because we know and understand, or at least you should at this point, that death is just a transition. Your works will follow you. And if the Heavenly Father sees that you're a servant right now, he's going to make sure you eat. So there might be a few days where you don't eat, but he will come in the proper time. You just have to be patient. So this precept right here is Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, is his treasure. So that right there is the main thing we're focused on. We could do a whole bunch of other things in the world, but we lose our lives to save it. We are basically born again through Yahweh Shai, and if we do his bidding, he will protect us in these evil days. And so with that, you can sing this Psalms to yourself. There's other various precepts to go into this, but it's just in the sense of like bringing that mindset of like being steadfast and unmovable, especially in the face of the enemy when he's trying to afflict us. This is Psalms 64:2, and I'm just going to read this part, but I recommend singing these Psalms because they're beautiful, edifying, and uplift you to put you in a right mindset. So Psalm 64:2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity. And so when we're praying to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, we're praying for protection from the enemy. And we know Esau Edom too well already. We've lived in his society. We've studied this guy. We've sized him up, if you will. So we know what type of things he's down to, and he's able to do. But the fact that we have this truth, we are likened unto those 5 virgins who were wise. They had their oil, and so that's basically going to keep us stable. It's going to keep us protected in these days. So when we sing these songs, that's what separates us from the rest of the world, is that we have a higher power that we're praying to. Let me read this here also. So this is in Hebrews 11:25, and you could read this whole chapter, but like in this part, because it was going into like highly esteemed men of the Israelites in the scriptures, like Moses, Joseph, and everybody else. But like specifically in this verse, it was speaking about Moses. So I'll read at verse 23. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. So we got to be in that mindset, not afraid of the king's commandment. When we see these things on the news and America getting ready to bring out the draft, you want to be on that side where you say, well, there has been a prophet among you, because this is something that we've been telling you. Y'all should have been getting prepared, because as for us, we're serving Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We are being prepared for the actual thing that we should be, which is basically to herald Yahweh Shai when he returns. Because like that's really the only part in World War III that we have, is basically to be on this side like an individual in their eyes. So we're not going to deal with them in that sense. We're not going to receive their concoctions. We're going to serve Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, because we're proper. We're basically like Moses right here, and we're not to be afraid of the king's commandment, because at that time the king of Egypt was slaughtering Israelite children. And then basically with this draft and everything else that Esau Edom is getting ready to do, he's going to try to do the exact same thing. And we're basically just like that, just as Yahweh Shai, because that also happened to Yahweh Shai when he was about to be conceived. That's basically happening to us. It's just that we're like that in that sense, that we're the babies, and Esau and his military is King Herod trying to kill the elect, but ultimately he's not going to succeed. But so I'm going to read from right here. It says, and they were not afraid of the king's commandments. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the sons of Pharaoh's daughters. It's like we were born here. We got a citizenship. We have to pay taxes. But ultimately, we know this ain't our rest. So continuing on, verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And that's why we basically put all our faith in this ministry. We're not going to vote. or have that like mindset or that blind pride that these people have when it comes to war. We know that that's a serious topic. We know that that is something that pertains to the scriptures. So we are going to be on Yahushai's side when the matters come for this. But basically, just to have no stake in this. Our stake is meditating on the kingdom, because these things will take place, and you best believe when all these articles and advertisements for the military and the draft comes up, we're going to be laughing. We're going to say that a prophet had been among you, and to get ready for Jacob's trouble, because they're mainly going to target you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Like me personally, I was in the military, and what I just said, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans encompass like roughly 70% of the force. Like, I was only in there for a minute, but that's basically what I experienced when I was going from base to base, platoon to platoon. Is you always had Jake and you always had Gad, and so you best believe that that's by design. But so with us being in Yahushai's military, we're not going to do those things. Even if, because like if you deny the draft, he's gonna put you in a prison, and that might be the case for you, unless you can find a way to circumvent out of it. Ultimately, you have to trust in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, and that whatever situation you find yourselves in, that you're protected. So the last precept I want to read is Jeremiah 30:7, because these are the times that we're literally about to enter. It's basically already happening, but just wait till Esau Edom comes knocking on your door. So this is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. That he is speaking about the elect. We're all going to be in this situation. The chariots ain't going to come during World War III. They're going to come at the last end of World War III. So we have to endure and suffer these things until that actually happens. And whatever you are predicament you find yourselves in, trust in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that he can keep you protected in these last days. Just know and understand that the apostles and the prophets of old went through the same type of chastisement. And the servant is not greater than his master. So if anything, this video should uplift you and get your head in the game. But with that, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh, and Shalom Akim.